Network. Welcome to our guest today. Hello, Nancy. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, you can't do much better than awesome. So, why don't you start off by telling us where it is in the world that you are?
I am in Orlando, Florida. Um, I am right now in my office. Well, it's not my office, but at an office where I work in research right now. It's a new thing for me. Um, and I've been in Orlando a little over 10 years now, originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, look at that. Well, you stayed on the same side of the continent, but just went a little south. So you're in Orlando. Did you have many troubles with the hurricanes that went through?
No, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
No.
Yeah,
hmm
thankfully. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's just so much craziness out there. So thank
hmm
goodness you're all right. So why
hmm
don't you start off by telling us a little bit about who Nancy is?
Man. Okay. So my my name is Nancy Ross. I am a transplant from Brooklyn, New York, here in Orlando, Florida. I am passionate about wellness, all things wellness. I've been on my wellness journey now probably since 2009. Um, I've done a lot of work, a lot of experiential work, therapy work, spiritual work. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I have a private practice, Pivotal Clarity Wellness Care. Um, and I'm passionate about the environment.
Mm.
I strongly believe when we work on ourselves, when we heal ourselves, by extension, we heal the planet because we show up differently. Things are just different. And we are more nurturing and more caring and more present.
Mm.
So I'm very passionate about wellness is not just mental wellness, it's spiritual wellness, it's physical wellness, it's emotional wellness. Um, yeah, so that's I'm a recent divorcee,
Right.
um, and I have three children, all adults living thriving lives. Um, I have grandchildren, and I'm starting my life over here. I feel like um, I get a second wind. I get to start over and live the life that I am passionate about.
Mm. Beautiful. Well, I mean that's great, right? Like coming through all that life stuff and then feeling like you're rebirthing. You're starting fresh. You just said that you're even doing a new research job, which is, just one more thing that
hmm
to on your new path, on your new journey in the new
Yes.
way. So how did you get into social work? What made you want to go into that line of or in that field?
Well, my work started in New York City. I really started on the grassroots levels back in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Um, and then I ended up uh, one day sitting in the train and seeing this advertisement. It said 1-800-33-THINK, and it was offering to return to school. I didn't think I was college material, that I could do it. I didn't think I was smart enough, but
Mm.
I did call the number and I did complete the college application and I went in and I just went in. It was at the time it was called the College for Human Services. Now it's known as the Metropolitan College of New York. And I just went in because of my life experience. I felt like I wanted to, like I needed to give something back. Um, and I walked away from a city job at the time. I was working at for the New York City Transit Authority. And I walked away from a job where I could have had a pension after 20 years, all that security stuff. I walked away from it because I was truly desiring to expand my mind. Um, and when I went there, it was a really interesting curriculum. I learned so much there, and so much came up for me around social issues. Um, and I wanted to make a difference in that way. And initially, I had wanted to start a program. Um, After I completed my bachelor's, that was my goal, that I wanted to start a program for teenagers who were aging out of foster care. Um, and then that kind of died out a little bit, and I just went into my career, was mostly into in medicine. I worked with HIV, AIDS, chronic diseases, case management programs, you know, did all that stuff. Worked with the homeless in New York City, did all that work, and then ended up relocating to Florida about 10 years ago when our eldest son opened up a CrossFit gym. And so my life took a different turn because I wanted to get out of the rat race. I didn't want the 9 to 5. I wanted to really embrace the time that I have. And I jumped in with 2 feet. I left everything behind and came here to Florida. Ended up getting relicensed here because they don't reciprocate licenses. And I ended up in trauma work. I ended up um, in working for an adoption agency, and I did work internationally and domestically with adoptions, and I learned a lot about Dr. Purvis's work that she did with children that come from hard places. Um, and And so the trauma work really set me off in a different direction. It was another layer of work that I personally had to do for myself.
Right.
Um, and it was, you know, they say that you gravitate towards what you really need. And I needed that work. And I can't stop talking about trauma. I think people get sick of me when I talk about healing from trauma. So, you know, I follow all the greats, Dr. Gabor Mate, Dr. Bruce Perry, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, you know, all these folks. And I apply that into my life and into my work. I still have a small private practice where I do therapy work in a with a holistic approach.
Right.
So it's not your traditional therapy work. I really use, you know, a multifaceted approach to help people dig deeper and have sustainable growth and change and healing.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, you have so much depth because of I mean, the people that you just mentioned, they all work in a little slightly different way, but when it comes together, it's massive healing. And I love when people have extra, you know, they don't just follow one program or one person, they diverge because we're all different. We all have different needs. And as you said, you came to it honestly and authentically and realized, you know, you needed it yourself. And I think that's the thing, right? We got to heal ourselves. And when we have all these things that are, you know, over our lifetime that we've accumulated and we need to start working on it, I think it's amazing that you went into the line of work. You ditched your job, your regular, you know, job, and really dove into there. So something really must have been speaking to your heart to say, this is it. This is the thing that you need. What was the first tool or modality that you used for yourself that you found was really healing, was really helpful?
Mm. Well, I got to tell you, the ones that I still feel made the biggest impact in my healing journey was the experiential work, where I went and took part of programs where I was there physically,
Right.
and I was guided and supported to do certain exercises to help me reach deeper parts of myself, and bring them to the surface. Those experiences were really life changing, like hard, deep, primal um, hurts came up, um, and I was able to release them. So that was very powerful for me. Right now, Music is a powerful healer for me. Dancing is a powerful healer for me. It's something that now I'm pursuing. Like I take dance classes as a way to heal the part of myself because these are you're dancing with a partner, so it's allowing myself to trust, to be led, to be guided, um, to connect with the masculine energy, um, to allow yourself to flow with it. So that's been my mindset. I'm going into dancing, and I'm signing up for a competition in
Oh,
April.
oh, good for you. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. You use it, I mean, it's guiding you in a healing way, but now it's turning into something fun and it's turning into something a little more outside of yourself, something a little bit bigger. That is so cool. I love how you said that because lots of people say dancing and it's, their own movements and their own flow and all that instead of having a partner. But I appreciate that because you do have to trust and you have to just allow it to become whatever it's going to become. And that takes a whole nother level of healing to be able to do that. That's amazing. And I'm so excited for you.
Mhm.
April,
Thank
competition.
you.
Woo. Did you ever
Thank you.
think you'd be doing that?
No.
Oh, that is amazing. What was the little spark that got you into dancing? Like, how did you decide that that's something you wanted to do? Were you always
Well,
interested?
well, I love dance. I grew up around dance. I mean, I joke about this and people laugh, but in the middle of our living room, we had a disco ball. And on Fridays and Saturdays, my mother turned on the music and we had a party. Um, family came over, friends, we danced. That's what we did. So music has been a big part of my life. Last year, my mom, who has advanced stages of Alzheimer's, last year I spent about 6 months traveling back and forth between Florida and New York. And I found myself when I was in New York connecting with some folks, and they had invited me to, check out some spots, and I went, and it was like I felt so alive, like I couldn't turn it off, like I was, I really rely on the power of noticing
Hmm.
as a tool. And so if I notice it, then it's up to me to lean into it, right? To inspect it. And so I'm like, I have this, I feel different. I'm light. I'm excited. My heart is racing. Like I'm feeling these feelings. And it was all because of dance. And so I got some feedback from somebody who's been in the industry for a while. And it just, I don't know, it made me feel really good to hear the feedback. And they were like, you really should compete. To think about, dancing competitively. And I was like, me? Really? But it put a bug in my brain and it just, that didn't go away. And I leaned into it and I just started to um, go out dancing to places where they do the Latin hustle. Um, and and then when I get back to Orlando, I just follow the thread and I searched on social media and I connected with groups and I ended up connecting with somebody who has just started a class here in Orlando. And she's competed internationally. And I showed up and I go every Sunday. And I building community there. And now I'm getting ready to level up to the, intermediate class.
That's so great. It's so great. And I mean, that's the point, right? Like healing can come in so many different ways, in so many different experiences. It's not just go sit on a couch and talk to somebody anymore or, go to a retreat. It's all these different things that we are starting to discover actually, are for our benefit. And the noticing for sure, right? If you're noticing something, maybe it is for you, and perhaps you should look into it a little further because you just never know. You just never know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Are you on a time? We better get going.
No, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just
Okay,
double
just making sure.
checking.
Because we had a couple issues at the beginning, so I just want to make sure I
Yes.
honor your time. Okay. All right. So when you start to work with people, you have your business there. When you start to work with people, what are kind of the first things that you might do with a new client to, assess or discover them?
You something that it's part of my practice, two things that initially I use when working with people. Number one is I assess them for trauma, because people, it's so easy, to think that trauma, oh, that's for first responders, oh, that's for people who were in the military, or that was, and you don't realize how subtle traumatic experiences are um are received energetically speaking and mentally. The brain records everything,
Right.
right? Everything gets recorded and stored away. And so I assess people for trauma, and it's really eye-opening for them. Um, the questions are tough questions. I use the ACEs scale. It's Adverse Childhood Experiences scale that Kaiser Permanente developed way over 10 years ago. And I use that scale just to give people an idea about them, about their experience, because then I can connect what that looks like in the brain and what the brain does and what that does to the body and everything else. It's like this whole domino effect. So I start with that. And then self-care. Self-care, I have 7 principles, I would like to call them, but it's not an exhaustive list, but 7 principles that I encourage people to explore in their lives as a way to love themselves, nurture themselves, and support themselves through the process of healing, through the process of therapy work, deep
Right.
work. Mhm.
Right. Well, I mean, we got to start somewhere. And I think a lot of people don't even realize maybe that they have these subtle traumas, these things that are, stored up in their cells, within their very cells. The body keeps scores, one of those things. And I think
Yes.
people are starting to realize that that is actually a thing. It's not some woo-woo thing out there in the world. It's a
Mhm.
thing. It's how our physicality works. It's how our energetic bodies work together. And that's another thing, right? We're not just a mind full of these memories. We're all the other things that go with it, the emotions, the the physical aspects, of course, and the
Mhm.
emotions and the mental state and all the things that go along with it. And I think that's,
Mhm.
finding someone who can help us uncover those things to get to the beginning is
Mhm.
very important. So if our women would like to work with you, how can they connect with you?
Well, there's many ways. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pivotal Clarity.
Okay.
And I also have a web page, Pivotal Clarity. Um, and I'm also on Psychology Today.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I'm in several places.
We can find you in a lot of places. Okay, Women of the Women's Wellness Network. We are going to put all of Nancy's information into the comment section so that you can find out more about her. And she has a lot to offer. So check it out. And even if you know of somebody, I like to always say that because it's not just about us. We might know a friend or a family member who could use her assistance. Just give them a little point them in the direction, and that's part of our job, I think, as human beings to help each other find the nurturing and the healing and the connections that we need in order to grow a little bit happier, healthier, wiser in the end, I guess. So, Nancy, is there anything else you would like to tell us before we sign off?
No, I'm really curious about the network and
Oh,
just, meeting more people from the network and collaborating.
awesome.
Um, we're in 2024. In 2022, I hosted a 1 day wellness retreat on June 21st, which is the summer solstice, the day with the most um light, fire energy, sun exposure. Um, and it was phenomenal. I had about 7 practitioners that came through. We did everything from meditation, yoga, affirmations, breath work, functional movement, sound bowl healing. It was beautiful. And that's something to that I want to revisit and I want to offer. It takes a village
Yeah.
to pull something like that together. And so in 2025, my goal is to do it again, to
Nice.
bring it
Awesome.
back. Yes.
Oh, that's
It's
amazing.
it's a day of really it's the middle of the year. It's smack dab in the middle of the year. And it's very symbolic. It's really truly the first harvest, right? Because we just come through winter and spring, and then it's summer. And that's really, the fruits of the summer, right? And so it's really looking back and taking inventory of, everything you've come through,
Mm.
all the goodness, everything you've done well. And then looking ahead for the next 6 months, how you want to close out the year. Um, so, we have a drum circle, a bonfire at the end, and it's a lot of fun. So I really want to do that again.
Work towards that. Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
something. Women of the Women's Wellness Network, collaborations and networking and building other things together is what we're here for. So check it out, contact her, reach out, dig out, find some more information. Maybe she can tell you some more about the last one. And we will keep in touch so we make sure that we know what's going on with that whole thing. And
Mhm.
yes, I would like to say thank you for coming today. It was really nice to meet you, Nancy, and find out all about your offerings that you have. And Women of the Women's Wellness Network, thank you for watching as always. And of course, until next time, be well. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nancy.
Okay. Bye-bye.